I'll never be wealthy. I'm just not smart enough with money. Money's always going to be a problem. I don't earn enough.
It's too late. I'll never reach financial independence. If only I had started in my early 20s.
Has this ever been you? In that case, this video is for you. This is a top 5 takeaway summary of The Barefoot Investor, written by Scott Pape. Most people doubt their own ability to handle money. In The Barefoot Investor, Scott Pape explains why this is silly and why handling your personal finances in a sound manner can have a huge positive impact on your own life, as well as those around you. Let me start this off by quoting Scott Pape, the very Australian barefoot investor himself. This is the Finance Geek's version of UFC. It's bare-knuckle financial fighting. And with me as your coach, you're going to win. Ding ding, let's jump in the ring. Takeaway number 1. Plant your tree. So, how does one best handle his personal finances? One of the best illustrations I've heard is presented in this book. You plant a tree. Or, well, more specifically, an apple tree. Planting the tree is a huge decision in the right direction. Give yourself a pat on the back. But it's obviously not a short-term fix. No one in their right mind plants an apple tree one day, only to come back a week later and be like, "Where are my bloody apples?" No. Neither do you pull up the samplings and try to put them in another part of your garden where it seems like it might be sunnier. And you don't get desperate and buy the program from that grow trees quick dude that you've seen on the ads on YouTube. You just trust that the tree will grow. As long as you nurture it, consistently adding fertilizers and water, you trust the process, and that you eventually will have a full-grown tree. A year or so down the road, you might see some of the first apples. They are small and sour at this stage, not really what you expected from an apple tree, but that doesn't make you lose confidence in the process. So you keep adding fertilizers and water. And you keep the bloody deer away from your tree. After that initial struggle, you even forget about the tree for a while, and just get on with your life. Eventually, that tree has grown deep and thick roots, with strong branches and delicious apples, enough to feed your whole family. And when your days have come to an end, your grandkids and even their kids can enjoy apples of that magnificent tree. Okay, I'm not really a botanist, I have no clue if apple trees can become that old, but you get the idea. Personal finance is the same. Plant the seeds of wealth, trust in the process, and enjoy life-changing harvest. Takeaway number 2. 3 common excuses. Usually there's a resistance against planting that first seed though. We mentioned them in the beginning. Does this sound familiar? I'll never have apples. I'm just not smart enough with plants. Sorry, I just can't stop thinking about apple trees. What I was trying to say, the most common excuses against starting the journey towards financial freedom are not being smart enough, a low salary, and being old. Let's shut these 3 down. Firstly, no one is born smart with money. This is a skill that can be taught. Also, it has more to do with behavior and control rather than brains. Secondly, it's not about what you earn, it's about what you save. Remember the age-old wisdom from George Clayson's The Richest Man in Babylon? That what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our income unless we protest to the contrary. You can always check out my summary of the book. Thirdly, please stop for a second and tell me when you expect to die. Now subtract your current age from that number. If I can trust the statistics that YouTube provides me with regarding the audience of this channel, you have many years to go. It is not too late. Takeaway number 3. The 9 barefoot steps. So far, this video may have been a bit abstract. Now, it's time to get practical. Here are the 9 barefoot steps towards financial freedom, which do look an awful lot like 7 baby steps that I've seen somewhere before. Anyways, here they are. Step number 1. Schedule a monthly barefoot date night. What it means? Once every month, have a talk to your significant other, or yourself, about your finances. Step number 2. Set up your buckets. What it means? Distribute your income into 3 separate buckets. This strategy replaces boring old budgets. Step number 3. Domino your debts. What it means? Get debt-free by starting to pay off your debts one by one. Start with the smallest ones. We need some quick wins. Step number 4. Buy your home. What it means? Not only is it the Yanks' dream to have a home of his own, it's the Aussies' dream too. Step number 5. Increase your super to 15%. What it means? Increase your retirement savings to 15% of your pre-tax income. Step number 6. Boost your mojo to 3 months. What it means? Boost your emergency fund to a level where you can support yourself and your family with it for 3 months. You haven't really reached FU money yet, but you are getting there. Step number 7. Get the banker off your back. What it means? Whereas step number 3 gets you debt-free from those smaller debts, this is where you aim for the big one, your mortgage. After this, you're finally free from bankers and interest payments. Winner winner chicken dinner. Step number 8. Nail your retirement number. What it means? Google retirement calculator plus the name of your country and enter your details. Step number 9. Leave a legacy. What it means? Remember what I said earlier about the grandkids being able to enjoy those apples? In the last 2 takeaways, I'll do a deep dive in 2 of the, in my opinion, most interesting steps. Which happens to be the 2 first ones. But I still read the whole book, I promise. Takeaway number 4. Schedule a monthly barefoot date night. Setting up bank accounts. Redirecting my retirement savings. Sorting out my insurance? Boring! But you're allowed to do it in a restaurant, and you can have garlic bread and wine to it if you want. What? Really? Okay, yeah, I'll consider it. Having the money talk, with or without a partner, is essential. And doing so while enjoying a nice meal enhances the experience. Never underestimate yourself with a glass of wine in your hand. The Barefoot Investor suggests that you should start out weekly and with pre-made menus. Later, you can change to monthly, and you may improvise and choose your own topics. But here are the suggested menus for the first 3 date nights. First night. Entree. Apply for 2 everyday transaction accounts without fees. Call them daily expenses and splurge. Apply also for 2 online savings accounts with decent interest rates. Call them Smile and Fire Extinguisher. Main course. Apply for an online savings account from a different bank. Call it Mojo. Dessert. Champagne. Second night. Entree. Google PDS plus the name of the fund or funds that your retirement savings are currently being invested into. Open the document. Scroll down to the section called Fees and Charges. Main course. If your current fund or funds are charging you more than 0.85% in total yearly fees, switch to a cheaper one. Dessert. Something rich and thick. Third night. This one is a bit too country specific in the book. I'm looking at you Aussies, so I'll modify it a bit. Entree. Do you live in a country where you need private health insurance? Then, remember to choose an option with a higher excess. Higher excess means lower annual premiums. Also, be sure to call your insurance company once every year and tell them that I'm kind of thinking about switching. Can we do something here? That way, you'll save a lot of money through reduced fees. Main course. Insure against your house burning down, serious car accidents, traveling overseas and getting sick, and being unable to work. If you have kids, you also want to insure against death. Save money by applying the same two strategies as mentioned for private health insurance. Dessert. Skip the dessert and head home for some grown-up time. If you're single, get Tinder Premium. Takeaway number 5. Set up your buckets. For most people, budgets don't work. They're like extreme diets. No one is ever able to stick to them. Wouldn't it be wonderful instead to have a simple solution that is easier to stick with? This is where the 3 buckets strategy comes into play. You put your money on autopilot and never have to worry about budgeting again. So, what is this 3 buckets strategy? Basically, it's all about distributing the water from your income tap in a strategic manner. You want a blow, a grow, and a mojo bucket. The mojo bucket is fairly simple. You need some backup if you're getting a visit from an unexpected black swan. Therefore, fill this one up as soon as possible with $2,000. Work overtime, sell stuff on eBay, become a Uber driver, sell your kidney. The grow bucket is also fairly simple. If you want to stay poor, focus on spending your money. If you want to become wealthy, focus on saving and invest in your money. This bucket will get you a little bit wealthier every day. Make sure that you save at least 9.5% of your pre-tax income for retirement. Use a low-cost fund. The below bucket is a bit more complicated, as it consists of 3 additional buckets in itself, and also quite a bit of leakage. A bucket within a bucket? Yes. Or no, actually there are 3 buckets within a bucket. What? The below bucket is about spending more money on the things that you enjoy and less on useless activities and stuff. After you've set aside money for your mojo and grow buckets, 60% of your income should be dedicated to your daily expenses. This represents the leakage in the bucket. You can't really survive without spending this amount. Next, automatically transfer 10% of the money going into this bucket to the splurge account mentioned before. Spend this money on anything that makes you feel good. Furniture from IKEA, music on Spotify, clothes from H&M. There is a lot of nice Swedish stuff to pick from. After that, another 10% goes into your smile account. This is money that you save for the big stuff. An exotic vacation, a new car. Finally, we have the remaining 20%, which should automatically be transferred from your monthly salary into your fire extinguisher account. Typically, people have a lot of fires to put out when they start this journey. You need to clip those credit cards, earn a deposit for buying your own home, and pay off your mortgage. Luckily, the fire extinguisher was created for this sole purpose. Here's everything that I've talked about in this video in just 35 seconds. Plant the apple tree. But I'm not smart enough with money. No excuses. But how? Follow the 9 barefoot steps. But my wife or husband surely won't agree to this. He or she will if you take him or her out on a barefoot date night. But I hate budgets. Most people do, so why not skip it, but force yourself to be financially sound automatically by setting up the 3 buckets. Scott Pape is awesome and hilarious. You may get his book from the link in the description, if you wish to read or listen to The Barefoot Investor and enjoy the full version. Cheers guys! Hooroo!